Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Hello and welcome back to What's on Tap podcast. I'm your host Martin.
And I'm your host Stefan.
And today I'm going to expose Stefan to what might be an unpleasurable experience.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Wouldn't be the first time. I managed to get my hands on some extremely discounted beers. Like 80% discounted. Because they are in fact expired.
Yes, both of these expired in May of 2022.
Yes. And that is in the past.
Yes.
These are from Browar NOOK in Poland.
Is it a joint collaboration?
Some of them are made with Funky Fluid. I think maybe they're
Nepomucen.
Yes.
So one of them is made with Nepomucen and the other one is just
exactly.
Browar NOOK.
I think Browar NOOK it might be a contract brewery. I'm not sure. But these are part of their Eurobox line of beers, where each beer corresponds to a European nation that I think participated in the European Soccer Championship of 2020. That's my guess. Googling it didn't really help me. And all of these beers have had like country flags on them, and I thought that they were collabs with different countries. So
that would make sense.
So the Ukrainian Raspberry Cynic, I was like, oh, Ukraine, yes. And then, no, it's not a collaboration at all. It's just like a tribute to what that country should taste like. So we have the Apfelstrudel ale, which is Austria honor.
Yes, it
beer.
says Vienna, skiing madness in the Alps, Mozart's music, and for dessert, delicious Apfelstrudel. Refreshing combination of sweet dessert with sour apples. Will you let yourself have a little bit of pleasure?
Right. And these are not stronger than 6%.
No.
If they were like 10, I wouldn't be worried.
5.9% ABV for the Apfelstrudel. It's an ale.
It looks kind of murky.
It does look murky, and it smells like Apfelstrudel. I'm not gonna lie. There's cinnamon and apples on here.
So every beer from this Eurobox series that I got heavily discounted has actually smelled like what the name was.
They nailed the smell.
And now we will taste it.
Yes. What I like here, they have a little what do you call them?
Rate us on Untapped, a little barcode, QR code.
QR code. They a little QR code that you can scan that takes you directly to the beer on Untapped.
That's nice.
I wish more breweries would do that because
Yes.
it makes it much easier to find the beer.
Yes. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I get the apple. I get the kind of sugary smell from the caramelization of the cooked apples in the strudel. Let's see how it tastes. What did you think?
It is exactly as I feared. You get 1 second of Apfelstrudel flavor, and then that just goes poof. Like, where did it go? Where's the flavor? And it kind of dissolves into this kind of sweetish ale, like this almost brown ale-y flavor.
Yeah.
This has to be a result of it being expired.
I feel like I've harped on this quite a bit recently in the past few podcasts, but the carbonation is really off on this.
Yeah.
It's way too flat.
Yes.
I think if it was a little bit more carbonation, it would brighten the beer, and the apple and the cinnamon and the caramel notes would really sing. But right now it just is a little muddled, and it's a little murky, and it's a little kind of like the color of the beer, kind of. Yeah.
But I mean, if the aroma and the first 1 or 2 seconds of the flavor just lasted, this would be a really good, fun beer.
It would, because I think, I'm still getting the spicy cinnamon and I don't know, maybe nutmeg or whatever flavors that are in there, and there's a little bit of that apple tartness kind of lingering. So there's definitely something here, and I would be interested to see what Browar or
Nook. No, don't say Kuhn.
Well, I see it backwards.
You're so terrible. You're a terrible human being.
Browar NOOK. I'd be very interested to try something that wasn't expired.
Yeah.
That wasn't 2 years old already.
Exactly.
So I think there's definitely some skill that went into this beer. I think there's definitely something happening here. But man, this is kind of...
It has lived out its life.
Yeah, it has gone past its prime. So do they only do like 6% in lower beers, or do they do some higher ABV?
I didn't get any stronger.
Okay.
Several were lower in ABV. There was one.
Maybe they were just meant to be kind of like drunk as a collective, and none of them were trying to be like Apfelstrudel, which is like, here's a 16% freeze dried beer.
I think you were supposed to get the entire Euro box, and if this was for the European Soccer Championship, you were supposed to drink all of them while watching the various nations.
Which makes
compete,
sense. Yeah,
which would make sense. The Swedish one was like licorice and raspberry.
Sounds delicious.
The Finnish one was the worst. Was the strangest one. It was Nordic berries, but it cannot be Nordic berries. Nordic fruits, and it was mango and passion fruit. And you go, wait, these aren't Finnish at all.
It's very traditional Nordic fruits.
So that one missed the mark. There was limoncello. That was
Italy, I would guess. Yeah.
But and again, limoncello for 1 second, and then poof, it's gone.
Well, what I like is the end taste isn't like malts. It doesn't taste cereal at the end, which I really like. I think I still have a bit of the apple and
it actually does,
and cinnamon flavor going on here. I think this is pretty good.
What would you give it?
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Ooh, I might give it a 3.
Okay.
It's too strange. The aftertaste is almost a little bit dusty.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely beer past its prime. Yeah. And the fact that it's still as drinkable as it is what's elevating it from a 3 for me. Because I think it's still pretty tasty, and I think it's still worth drinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely feel that this beer has moved past its prime.
We're sorry. It's my fault.
So next up is Denmark's entry. 5 points to Denmark. Cinnamon Danish stout. Stout being on the...
This could have been a 10% wow, but it's a 6% cinnamon stout.
Yes. Lego bricks, cinnamon frosted buns, and Andersen's stories, I guess Hans Christian Andersen, are not the only fantastic things which you can find in Denmark. How about a trip to the rich flavor of our cinnamon and concise stout? Okay, that's a
Google Translate if I ever heard one.
Yep, with a hint of roasted barley and oak flakes. Great fun guaranteed. Yeah, the rich flavor of cinnamon and concise. CONCISE. Yep, stout. I have no idea what they're going for there. There must be a weird translation going on here, right? So what was it? It was 6%.
Yeah.
Let's dig into this bad boy.
That doesn't smell.
The smell is not great. The smell is like popcorn almost.
Yes, it's almost like buttery popcorn.
Yeah, which is a really bad off flavor for beers. It's considered a phenol
burnt rubber.
Issue. Yeah.
There is very little cinnamon in this.
All right. Cheers.
I'm sorry, Stefan.
It's okay. It's fun.
That's not very good. It hardly tastes like a stout anymore.
What's funny is when I poured this, it kind of started to overflow. I took a quick sip of the foam so it didn't overflow. And I was like, ooh, cinnamon. That's kind of nice cinnamon flavor to it. I don't know what happened there.
We had it open for the 7 minutes while recording this.
We missed that cinnamon plateau there. This is weird. The mouthfeel is actually pretty good. I think there's a nice oiliness to it.
This one has better carbonation than
the carbonation is pretty nice. But then the problems began.
Yeah. The flavors go in different directions, and there's like no one coordinating.
Yeah, the roastiness is not good. That since I've identified like this popcorn tar, it's all I get now.
Yeah.
And it's completely ruined the beer for me.
A ashy tar.
Yeah, the cinnamon, I think maybe they put too much in because it's not floral. Like sometimes you get like really cinnamon stouts and it's just like, this just tastes like perfume almost.
Yeah. But
this is more like burnt malt and roasted cinnamon or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this is an issue of it's too old. I don't know that this beer is probably very good ever.
This one, I think you're right.
Because it definitely doesn't taste like, oh, well, the flavors have just diminished. Because sometimes we do these pastry stouts, like, oh, I mean, if we'd have had it like 6 months ago, you would have gotten the coffee and the chocolate and the vanilla and all the
notes. The Apfelstrudel is kind of like that. We can see how it tasted 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Stronger and like more put together.
Yeah.
But this one either fell apart or was never...
I think probably if you would have had this 2 years ago, the cinnamon flavor would have been overwhelming. It would have just been probably a horrendous cinnamon bomb.
The cinnamon challenge.
And I think pretty much. And then I think as the 2 years have gone, it's just broken at this point. And I think this is just a broken beer. The only saving grace is I think the oat makes the mouthfeel really, really nice for a 6%. It drinks like a much heavier beer.
Yep, it does.
And the carbonation is quite good, but yikes, that is really the extent of it.
Yeah. I think this has to be like a 225 or something.
Yeah, it's a 2 for me.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And we apologize to Browar NOOK for murdering these beers on air. They were on sale at a European web shop very recently.
I mean, it's fun.
It's super discounted.
Like, I applaud the effort that went into it. I like the concept. I love a good complete concept like the Apfelstrudel dinner anniversary dinner beers. I love, even if none of them all of them are successful, at least they're putting together a package, and I love the concept. I think the beers themselves, there's a lot of quality going into them. The brewers seems like they know what they're doing.
Yep.
So I would definitely, if I saw more of their beers on the shelf, try more of their stuff. Because these two, there's a lot of craftsmanship that went into it. Unfortunately, I don't think we're getting their best.
No. But this brings up a difficult topic. Like, this brewery has sold their beers to a European web shop, and then you kind of lose control of your product.
100%.
And this web shop has not sold them all, and has decided not to throw them away, not to destroy their stock, but instead sell them super discounted.
Right.
And
so,
they hooked me.
So do you think that the web shop had these for sale for a long time?
I absolutely think so.
Or do you think they just got a bunch of it in at the last minute? Maybe they got it from someone else. Maybe there was another place that went out of business and they just bought overstock and then sold it. Or do you think the brewery just was like, shit, we got a bunch of this stuff. We got to offload, and we'll sell it to to some web shops for a super cheap price. So the markup is basically free off of them. I
believe that the web shop held on to them for a long time. You keep talking.
Yeah. Okay. Because there's a lot of roads to get here. And if it's the web shop that I think you're looking at, oh, okay, I don't, yeah, well, that web shop.
We can say it's Beer Gym.
Yeah.
Who usually sells pretty good beers.
Yeah.
But they
haven't known to hold on to some stuff for much past a lot longer than its prime, and then deeply discount it to just kind of sell overstock.
To just get rid of it. And I did buy some IPAs that had lost their hop edge, but they weren't expired. They had gone into more of a
just tired
West Coasty.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah.
It seems like they added these beers about a year ago to their web shop.
Oh, well, okay. Even then, that's a year old at that point. So
We think so, yes. Yeah, and some of them are like discounted by 50%.
Yeah.
Stuff.
yeah, at some point you kind of think they just should cut their losses and just destroy the beers and run it off as overhead.
The big question is: is the web shop ruining their own reputation by doing this, or are they just increasing sales because beer nerds will still go back to them because they are a good outlet for other stuff?
I think it's hurting the brewery. I don't think it hurts the web shop.
Exactly.
Because the beer nerds are going in and going, oh, I can buy a bunch of shit that is deeply discounted, so I'm going to buy it. And then if they're not really paying attention to how old the beer is, then they're just thinking, oh, this brewery isn't very good. Yeah. When in fact, the brewery is really good, but the beers are way past where they should have been. And technically, it may have even been illegal for them to sell these beers because they have passed their expiration date.
It might be.
So they might be breaking some. I'm certainly there's probably some Swedish laws they're breaking. Because when you're dealing with international sales like this, you really have to be mindful of the expiration date. And while it is an arbitrary number on the back of the can a lot of times, it does mean something, and it does mean a Best Buy date in a lot of instances.
Yes.
So yeah, they're probably breaking some laws by selling these beers.
In the defense of the web shop, they clearly mark. They're very good with writing out all expiration dates and like canning dates for IPAs. Mm-hmm. They also just start discounting them to get rid of them.
And I have no problem with them like discounting things up to the day of the expiration.
Exactly.
And then once the expiration date hits, I don't think you should be allowed to sell it anymore. No. Simply because if I go to the grocery store and I buy meat that's 3 days past the expiration date, they shouldn't be selling me anymore. Is the meat fine to eat? Sure, probably. It's been in a refrigerated, air-conditioned space, and it's usually vacuum packed, so it can probably last much longer than what the expiration date is. But the grocery stores aren't allowed to sell that anymore.
Exactly.
I feel like web shops should be held to the bare minimum level of quality.
But obviously yes. I'm not saying I'm not trying to disagree with you. The good thing about these for me is I already had some good beers, not expired, that I wanted to buy, and I needed to fill up the box to justify the shipping cost. Mm-hmm. And discounted beers are so good as box fillers.
Because they're a lot of fun too. Because it's shit you would never buy otherwise.
Exactly.
There's no way in hell you would ever buy an Apfelstrudel ale.
And not a 5.8%.
Yeah.
I would buy a 12% Apfelstrudel ale.
No, it's still bad.
I would. I would
too.
Oh, you tried it again and you said, oh, it's still bad.
It's still bad, yeah. But the Apfelstrudel, still quite pleasant. I really quite enjoyed that one. All right, we'll wrap this up here. whatsontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. And we're actually getting quite a few followers on YouTube. Wow. For some reason. I have no idea why, but I'm really glad they're following us there.
Cool.
So thanks, guys. Keep listening. And until next time.
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.